We should also recognize that the history of collective bargaining has actually been one of exclusion in this country as well. That when the National Labor Relations Act was passed in the 1930s, in order to get it passed and get it basically politically maneuver it around, at that time, Southern politicians who were blocking its passage, there had to be an agreement to actively exclude workers who at that time mostly employed, or sectors of workers that mostly employed women and people of color, particularly Black workers in the domestic worker industry and the agricultural sector. And it's important for us to understand and own that history, that for decades there have been large swaths of workers who've actually been excluded from being protected under basic labor law and included to have collective bargaining rights in the first place. And then on top of it, right now, some of the growth sectors that we see in the economy are also the very sectors that where these exclusions continue to play out. And I think we have to own that and understand that as part of this narrative around collective bargaining rights and what we need in the 21st century. One set of workers that are often overlooked are immigrant workers. Immigrant workers who do organize in their workplaces face severe retaliation, and employers know that. So they mistreat their workers. When the workers want to complain, they know they have that leverage of calling ICE on them.
So I don't mean to interrupt, but you mean specifically workers who are not authorized to be
Not
working in the
authorized to be
country?
working, undocumented immigrant workers. That is a huge issue. We see in 2018, we saw a rise of worksite raids that aren't being talked about. Hundreds of workers and communities that are being disrupted in places like North Texas, in East Tennessee, in Ohio. And those are the large scales of workers were actually being deported and detained and deported in some cases, let alone every day the amount of sort of raids that are happening in workplaces, all because of alleged labor law violations at companies. And it's not the companies who are getting punished, it's actually the workers who are getting punished. They're the ones that are being stopped and they're the ones being deported.